Hello and welcome to my look at the top 10 reasons to stay on board your cruise ship whilst in port. The best thing about cruising for me is a chance to visit new places, enjoy new cultures and meet people with different outlooks on the world. While some of that can be achieved on board your cruise ship, especially more remote places where you tend to have people from across the globe on board your ship, to really experience all of it, you need to leave the ship and explore. And that is what I love to do, but there are just some cruise ports of call where you don't need to get off the ship, and that can be for a number of different reasons. After doing something that I never thought I would do on a cruise, when me and my wife stayed on board the ship whilst in port in Verdon, that got me thinking about other reasons that would get me to stay on board once again, and that is just what I look at in this list. So as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe, and why not comment below to tell me the port of call you never leave the ship in. My name is Darren, and this is my look at the top 10 reasons to stay on board your cruise ship whilst in port. If you love to visit the onboard spa whilst cruising, you will know just how costly it can get. On most ships, you can receive huge discounts if you visit on a port day rather than a sea day, which if you're not too bothered about the port you visit, it can be a great way to save money and make the most of your time on your holiday. If you are sailing somewhere known for its incredible natural beauty, such as the Norwegian fjords or Alaska, the best aspect of being in a port is to take in the incredible views that surround you. It can often be the case that the best views can be seen from on board your ship. So if you are just in a small village with not much to do there, or if you dock on a wet day, why not stay on board your ship and take advantage of everything on board while still having those incredible views. No matter if you are sailing on a luxury ship or a humongous megaship, you can experience a more intimate cruise experience by staying on board whilst inshore. If you decide to lounge around the pool, there are still waiters coming around to bring you drinks, but with less people on board, you will have the chance to chat to them and get a more personal experience. The same can be said about all the other areas of the ship, from the cafes to the bars and from the lounges to the buffet. Everywhere is just less crowded, and both staff and your fellow passengers who stay on board with you just have more time to relax and get to know each other. If you arrive into a port and it's either freezing cold and wet, or it is at the other extreme and it's just too hot for you, just stay on board and avoid it. If things improve, you can always head ashore, as we had to do on a visit to Allison, where our arrival was greeted by strong winds and heavy rain, but a couple of hours later it dried up, and by the afternoon the sun had even come out. Some people love private islands, while some hate them. If you are the former, you will want to spend as much time on the island as possible, whilst if you are the latter, you will likely not book an itinerary that goes to one. If you are somewhere in the middle and don't really care either way, why not just simply stay on board your ship? Most ships offer the pools, flumes and sunbathing opportunities that a private island has to offer, but you have much more variety when it comes to food and drink, and you are just a short stroll from your stateroom. The ship is often much less crowded than the line's private island, so you can enjoy all of its attractions without the queues. Crime can happen at any point in any port in the world that you visit, and many have a false sense of security in some places, whilst they have an overcautious view of other ports. There are some ports, however, that caution is the better part of valour, to misquote Falstaff, and if you don't fancy having to be part of an organised tour of where you are visiting, or if, like me, you prefer to explore on your own and keep away from the tourist traps, it may be just best to stay on board. If you are travelling as a family, or if you simply love to have lots to do on a ship, one of the gigantic megaships offered by the likes of Royal Caribbean and MSC Cruises are a great option. With a massive list of attractions, enough bars, cafes and restaurants to allow you to try somewhere new every day for a month, you just don't have the time on a regular holiday to try everything. It's not helped by thousands of others also trying to enjoy all that the ship has to offer whilst at sea. So why not get the most for your money and stay on board whilst in port, especially if you are not too bothered about exploring it. You can then take advantage of all the ship has to offer, but without the queues for everything, as those behemoths of the sea are wholly results in their own right. If you are on a port-intensive itinerary, where you have no sea days and you are just not that interested in one of the ports you visit, you can stay on board, rest and relax, and create your own sea day. There are some ports that I class as being one and done ports, or ports that you visit once and never really have the need to go back again. This can be simply down to the port being only small with not much there, it being a port built around one single attraction that you have now done, or maybe it is a port that takes quite a bit of cost and effort to get to the city it is supposed to be. Which, whilst great to do once, it's not really worth doing again. Hello Civitavecchia. If you do find yourself in an itinerary going back to one of those ports, why not stay on board and take advantage of a quiet ship? This is the thing that got me thinking about this list, and is also the thing that proved to be the reason to keep me on board a ship whilst in port for the first and hopefully last time. Whether it is a line trying to save money and going to a port with the cheapest docking fees, or just a port that offers nothing but somewhere to act as a place to set off to a major city or attraction, it unfortunately leaves those on board with no interest in heading off to explore, or who don't want to pay the often overpriced excursion fees stuck on board the ship. That was exactly the situation I found myself in Verdon, with nothing at the port, and excursions to wineries being of no interest to me. So all that remains to be said is thank you so much for watching my top 10 reasons to stay on board your cruise ship whilst in port, and see you next time.